Hey nerds, welcome back to Nerd News. I'm Mr. Daniel, and today we're going to be reviewing Luke Cage Season 2. Now, right now I'm pre-recording this before I watch the season, before it's even coming out, because I'm starting a new thing of, which is probably going to happen with all my reviews. If I can't, then I can't. But we're starting in this one, where I'm going to give you my thoughts before it comes out, and just see if I'm hyped for it, and if I'm not, and like see if I'm excited. So, with the trailer that was shown, it looks like a Luke Cage thing. It looks pretty cool. It looks pretty hyped. It looks like Luke is more of this Jesus figure in Harlem than in the last season, which is pretty cool. I like that concept of him being like a god figure to these people. The villain, it looks, okay. He doesn't look as good as Conmouth last season, and probably gonna be better than Diamondback, honestly. So yeah, the villain I'm not so hyped for, but I'm excited for Luke to be, Luke, be his nice self again, because he was kind of more of like an uplifting spirit in this whole dark Netflix series. Because let's be honest, the Netflix portion of the Marvel universe is pretty dark. Like, a girl almost killed, like, there are a lot of dark shit, but Luke Cage overall just seems like that beacon of hope, that light figure in this whole universe, well, portion of the universe. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I mean, that's why I loved Luke Cage the first season, so I'm just overall excited, like I am that one. We don't know how many episodes it's gonna be. Hopefully, it's a decent amount of episodes, but I'm going to be watching it tonight. I'm probably going to be staying up for like 12 hours, because it's usually like 12 to 13 episodes, so about 13 hours. But yeah, I want to see Luke basically connect with the community. I think that's what a lot of people want to see. But yeah, comment down below it's not over yet. So, yeah, before I move on to the next thing, right now, comment down below if you are excited. So, yeah, let's move on to my future self, where I tell you what my thoughts are after seeing this. So I want to start off by saying everything from this point to the end of the video is spoiler territory for Luke Cage Season 2. And if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. Then come back to this and watch this video, because this is probably better than Season 2 of Luke Cage. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so I have heard some reviews about Luke Cage Season 2 being bad, being horrible, being worse than Iron Fist Season 1. That, I just don't think is true. My thoughts are that episodes 1 through 8 are just not interesting. Now, not entirely not interesting, but a little, like, it should be more interesting. The things that are interesting is Misty losing her arm in the Defender series, and she having to overcome people pitying her and be a better person, a better police officer, and yeah, just her growing. Her arc, resenting the police and what they do, and thinking that Luke does a better job than the police do, and then becoming the chief of police and realizing the error of her ways, is really cool, and I really like that part about her. Another thing that was interesting is Luke's dad. He is trying to after his half-brother, Luke's half-brother, fighting him at the end of Season 2, Luke blames his father for that and not saying anything that, like, oh, you never told me I had a half-brother, you never told me you cheated on Mom. So Luke's dad is trying to become a better father, and you really see that and you really care about that. But that's the only thing that's really interesting through episodes 1 through 8. And the villain wasn't that good, episodes 1 through 8. I mean, Bushmaster wasn't good, and he's the main villain, and he didn't feel like the main villain throughout the entire thing, and he should. I mean, he left on the second to last episode, and then Mariah was the main villain. You can't say that Bushmaster is the main villain and then make Mariah the main villain. I guess they were both main villains, but still. So Bushmaster's intentions were, oh, Mariah's mother killed my mother and my mother, and then they tried to kill me. Mariah's parents tried to kill me or whatever. And it says that my mother owned Harlem's Paradise, which is a club, and this rum shop or whatever. It honestly sounds like the plot to Black Panther. Like, guy comes, tries to rule an area, and says, this is my birthright, it's not yours, it's mine, let me earn this. So it just sounds very similar to Black Panther, but that's not even it. It's just, he wasn't that interesting. One, we didn't see him a lot. You see him episode 1, take a bunch of bullets. You see him episode 2, beat the shit out of Luke Cage. And then you don't see him episode 3. Episode 4, he's probably not there. But, you only get little bits of him trying to beat Luke. And then, once you find out he's just beating Luke with a power-up, it kind of makes him feel less threatening. Because let's say he doesn't have that power or fruit or herb. What is it? It's just a plant from the earth, but it's basically magic at this point. That helps him. It makes him feel less threatening. It makes him feel less of a threat to Luke Cage because he beats his ass too. And we find out that the plant is having effects on him, so that's why Luke can beat him up. Anyway, it just kills me to say it because what I can tell is that the actor's really good. I haven't seen him in anything else, but he seems really good, and he seems really into this character. So it's kind of sad to see an actor who really looks like he's doing a great job, just the character is bad. Okay, moving on to other stuff that I liked. And we only see it for one episode, and I liked it last season, and I liked it in The Defenders. I liked Luke getting into Harlem, knowing its people, like, walking around, asking questions. I like that. It was in episode 2. I like him, like, talking to that old woman about, like, I love him connecting with the people, because I watch Luke Cage because it's not the dark part of the Netflix shows. I watch Daredevil to get a psyche into Daredevil's personality with action. I like Jessica Jones because it's a detective mystery, but with a little bit of action. I like Luke Cage because it just makes me feel good about Luke saving people. He's definitely the hero. He's the most heroic one after every other defender in Netflix. They're all just crime fighters. He's a hero. He saves people. He cares about Harlem. Not to say that Daredevil doesn't care about Hell's Kitchen, but Luke is involved in the people's lives. And Iron Fist, I watch Iron Fist for Bleach. Yeah, just a good old eye bleach. Speaking of, god damn it, Iron Fist. Never thought I would say this. When Iron Fist got into the show, which was episode 9, things started to get interesting, and I hated that. I hated that I liked Danny Rand so much now, but it also makes me like him a lot more. He actually seems like a cool guy. He seems like he is in the comics. One thing in the comics, I think it's issue 5 in the Defender series. Night Nurse is helping Danny after he gets injured, right? And he's like, what can I do to repay you? Night Nurse says, can you lower the rent on my thing? And he's like, didn't I buy the building for you? She's like, no. He's like, okay, the building's bought for you. Like, he just seems like that. Like, when he walks in the first episode, he just seems a lot calmer, and he seems like a lot more of his comic book self, which I really like. But one thing I do want, I just want that comic book costume. We're probably not going to get it with the mask, probably not, but I just hope we do. And the best season ending, probably of all the Netflix shows, this takes the cake, 100%, 10 out of 10. This is the best ending for any season, well, not any season, any Netflix show of all time. Luke, so this is what happens. Mariah's daughter kills Mariah, the main villain, after she's in prison. She dies. So, Luke's, and also, when Mariah got into prison, once Luke finally brought Mariah down, after 2 years of trying to get her down, the streets are filled with crime. It's out of control. Luke realizes that there needs to be a king, not a sheriff in town. So, Luke's like, okay, I need to become like a crime boss or whatever. Misty Knight resents him. A lot of people resent him for it. A lot of people are supporting him on this. And he kind of, so then, anyway, back to Mariah. Mariah, after she dies, she leaves something for Luke. She's like, I want to give Harlem's Paradise to someone who loves Harlem. So she gives it to Luke. Mortal enemies, right? She has learned to respect him for how much she loves Harlem. She knows that. She loves Harlem too. She just does it in a different way. She does it in the way she only thinks that will help. Killing people and controlling crime. Not stopping and controlling it. Because she thinks that you can't stop crime. You can only control it. Which is very interesting. And at the end, you literally see Luke in a suit in the little crow's nest in Harlem's Paradise. Just like Cottonmouth. Just like Mariah. So maybe he's becoming what he sworn to protect. Now, will this change Luke? I think this will. And he's counting on Misty to, if he ever does become like a huge crime boss, that Misty will stop him or anyone else will stop him. But I think this is amazing. I think this is the best season ending of all the Netflix shows. It's just a huge flip roll because now Luke's at the top. Like literally top of the food chain. He always was at the top of the food chain, but I think he's just like, he added a new chain really. He's like a whole nother level. So maybe this is good that he can control crime. You know, he probably has more gangsters. Maybe he can control it on a bigger scale with people under his feet. So yeah, I like this season. There are problems with it for sure. It's just not interesting. It takes a little while to get in there. A little too long of a while, but overall it's worth it. So if I did have to rate this, 7.4. You know, it's a good season, but it took too long to get its feet off the ground. And it did finish super strong, so that's why I'm giving this season a 7.4. Good. Could have been better. Hopefully next season will be better, and I'm counting on it with this season finale. And yeah, I'm very excited. Comment down below your thoughts on the season. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. This is Nerd News. Sign off.